Hello, 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 hello. Cool. Okay, welcome back to Learning Rust by Example. This is just a series, a live stream series, where I'm completing exercises for the Rust programming language on a website called Exercism.org, which is a website where you can basically learn different programming languages by example. As I go, I'm writing up flashcards on various things that I find confusing and then figuring out the answer to them. And then by doing this, hopefully you'll be inspired to have a go yourself, and also you might find the flashcards useful in the future. So I've completed 5 challenges so far. One where I was setting up a struct. This is hello world reverse string. That's basically using vectors, maybe. Can't remember. Gigasecond, that was figuring out how to use time, and then anagram, that was looping through stuff, and maybe something to do with lifetimes, I think. I am a novice at Rust. I've done about 7 years of Python programming, 2 years of JavaScript, 8 months of lower level stuff like Ona Mutlu's course on computer architecture. So that's like FPGAs and stuff like that. And I've done 6 months of C. So yeah, I've had a look at stuff across all levels, but mainly at the high level. And Rust is the first programming language that I've been presented with as by my employer to be the low level language that they use. So that's why I'm looking into this. Okay. Let's go. Space age. So the year is 2525, and you've just embarked on a journey to visit all planets in the solar system. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. The first stop is Mercury, where customs require you to fill out a form. Bureaucracy is apparently not Earth specific. As you hand over the form to the customs officer, they scrutinise it and frown. Do you really expect me to believe you're just 50 years old? You must be closer to 200 years old. Amused, you wait for the customs officer to start laughing, but they appear to be deadly serious. You realise that you've entered your age in Earth years. But the officer expected it in Mercury years. As Mercury's orbital period around the Sun is significantly shorter than Earth, you're actually a lot older in Mercury years. After some quick calculations, you're able to provide your age in Mercury years. The customs officer smiles, satisfied, and waves you through. You make a mental note to pre-calculate your planet-specific age before future customs checks to avoid such mix-ups. Given an age, in seconds, calculate how old someone would be on a planet in our solar system. Okay. Close to my age. Nearly 1 million seconds old. Cool. Okay. Let's go. I don't really see how this could be particularly difficult. Code below is a stub. Just enough to satisfy the compiler. Any of this code. Do we need any of this stuff? Duration from seconds. Public trait planet. Okay, so this is something interesting about Rust. You have these things called traits, which are essentially methods that you can add to pre-existing structs. So I could implement, here we go, implement planet for Mercury. And this allows me to say how many years. So this basically adds, if I'm on the planet Mercury with a struct Mercury, and then I say dot years during, if I've implemented this planet trait, it's basically like adding a method to the struct. And then I can overload this function signature inside of implement planet for Mercury. I don't really think I need this. Convert a duration D. There's a number of years on this planet for that duration. Okay. Not fully sure what this is, but let's do it then. So for the planet Mercury, years during D, a reference to a duration. This goes to a float 64 value, and it's going to be, so the duration is from S, so it's going to be number of seconds, I guess. U64, so U64 is probably an unsigned 64-bit integer, and I'm going to say does that mean I have to do... So I'm just thinking now, I think I might have to do function new. Nice, U64. Oh no, I don't need to do this. No. No, I can just return duration S. That would probably work. Or maybe I could even do it like this, because that seems to be the way they do it in Rust. Okay. Here's during. Duration, so that means I want to say d.seconds divided by 3,000. Okay. So we got 3,600. This number of seconds in an hour times 24 times, what did they say? 365. So that's the number of seconds in a year. And we multiply that by 0.2408467. Or does it make more sense to... Okay, well, let's see what that does. Ah, it's so difficult to stop doing that. Help. Brace struct declarations are not followed by something something blah blah blah. ChatGPT. Cool. Braced struct declarations are not followed by a semicolon. Well, yeah, I know that. Ah, yeah, right. Okay, duration S. Duration does not have this field. Oh, what? So there is the way you can define a struct, I don't know, explicitly is by saying seconds is that. So if I run this, this should work now, or it shouldn't complain. Yeah, and that's complaining that I can't mutate something maybe or something, or anyway, never mind that. That works, but I think there is a shorthand way of doing it. Shorthand literal struct or something. In fact, actually, just do this quickly. And then let's continue from where we were before. So maybe they've already got it actually. Shorthand point XY. Ah, I see. If the field names and variable names that you want to use for the fields are the same, then you don't have to cool. Right. So, what's the issue now then? Cannot multiply line 32. Cannot multiply integer by float. Okay, cool. So what I did here was I just added a 0.0, and this tells the Rust compiler that these are actually, to interpret these as floats, which means it can use them just fine. Now it's saying d.seconds is obviously not a float. I don't know how to... This just is ridiculous. I'm sure there's like a very fast way to do this. It's just... It's incredible how crap searching is now compared to ChatGPT. Okay. Okay. Well, equally, I suppose I could say, like, why am I saying it's a U64? Maybe I should just say it's an F64. And say S as F64. Let's try that. Hey! Nice. Well, that was actually really easy. Right, okay. Well, probably got it now then. This horrendous code copying. Clean code people just crying their eyes out. Venus. Bosh. Earth is nothing. Mars is that. Jupiter is 11. Saturn is 29. Uranus is 24. And Neptune is 64. Run tests. Oh, cool. Why was that so slow? Anyway. Nice. That one finished. That was actually really easy compared to some of the others, but maybe that's because I understand a bit more. Yeah, let's submit and see what they say. Our systems don't have any... Okay, request code review. In that case then. To learn from this track. Okay, so what I'm basically saying here is I did the implementation differently for every single planet struct, but I could have instead assigned something like Earth ratio or something like that to all the structures, all the planet structures. And then in the implementation, maybe I could have just not bothered doing it for every single one. Maybe there was a way I could just do it once or something. Maybe I could have done it straight in pub trait planet, something like that. So yeah, I'm just asking which way is better. Okay. Sublist. Given any two lists, A and B, determine if list A is equal to list B, or list A contains list B, A is a superlist of B, or list A is contained by list B. None of the above is true. Same values in the same order. List A is a superlist of B if A contains a subsequence of values equal to B. List A is a sublist of B if B contains a subsequence of values equal to A. Examples: A equals blah, B equals blah. Cool. So this is sort of similar to set theory stuff, maybe. Not quite, maybe. So we've got an enum comparison. Nice. So I've heard enums are very important, but I don't actually know why. So I'm going to try and find out. So is this basically just saying whether or not yeah, I don't really know. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but that sounds reasonable. Okay. Oops, they've implemented it all for me. Determine if the first list, so we've got sublist. What the hell does this mean? See what they say about that. Okay. First list, second list. So if I had to guess, I would say that it's saying the sublist should be of type T that has this partial equality trait attached to it. First list should be a reference to some array of type T. And then it should lead to a comparison enum. Right, okay. What's the easiest way of doing this? So, well, first of all, return comparison equal. I don't know if that's the correct way of doing it, but let's guess. That might be possible to search. Okay, so you do it like that, do you? Okay. I guess that's right. I don't know, but let's just see if I run these tests. If maybe missing else clause. Cool. Right. So it is going to be how do you check for sublists? Okay, so let's do see if that works. Does. Okay, so I'm going to get the first list length, and then what I'm going to do is search every possible group of the second list and check that they're equal or not. And if they are equal, then A is a sublist. In fact, actually, now I come to think of it, yeah. So basically, A can only be a sublist of B if A is shorter than B. And A can only be a super list or superset, not super, well, super list of B if A is larger than B. So we actually need to, we should just do that check. So I can say if first list dot len is greater than second list dot len, then we're going to check if this len, God's sake, second list length is that. I want to say 4. So set something up here and say let mutatable is superlist. What is it? Superlist. I think. What does it use that. Nope, it uses lowercase. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to loop through and then set the is super listed true if I find that there is that B does have the same sequence of, if the sequence of characters or whatever types, elements, whatever you want to call it, items, does match a sequence in the first list. So let's think. Let's do. List length minus the list length. IDX. Okay. What does that function signature mean? Yeah. Means something is public. Which means code outside of the module can access it. Fairly obvious, but yeah, worth noting down. Yeah, this generic type parameter t with a trait bound. Has the partial ec trait bound to it. The lists are references. The thing I don't get about this is why you add it to the beginning. Okay. Again, I don't really know if that's true, but it's just the way I'm thinking of it. Makes sense to me. The angle bracket notation is it's almost like the header of a HTML file. It's like, hey, here's some meta information that could be used all over the place. Okay. So, oh yeah. Let's see if this works. 0, 1, 2. Okay. So we can say, let's just do that there. If, oh, how do you slice a list? Probably an iterator. Sure. Cool. Is it an iterator? Yeah, nice. So an iterator is well, something that you can iterate over. Basically, meaning you can say to it, "Give me the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing," and it will iteratively provide you the next example that it's supposed to provide you with. Okay. Take a slice by using the range. Then square brackets and adding a reference to show it's a reference, for example. X equal 1, 2, 3, 4. Y equal at x 0, 2. This would set y equal to 1, 2. Cool. Cool. First list dot idea dot range. First list. True break. Oh, this just seems like a weird way to do it. I don't know. Maybe I could just do return comparison superlist instead. And then if we don't get that, then we can return comparison unequal. Let's see. First, let's help the trait. Partial X not implemented for D. Consider dereferencing here. Nice. Oh, it's pretty cool how useful that compiler is. Much more useful than the C compiler information. Segmentation fault. And how do they do their other statements? Never used that. Don't need it. Okay, at the end of superlist panicked. Left equals right failed, left unequals superlist it's saying. Doesn't implement debug. Oh, Professor just calls it to fail. Well, this doesn't force it to happen, does it? How annoying. If I can't see it, it's quite difficult. Oh no, I can see it, can't I? I can check the tests. Which one's failing? What? List one. This one, there's two. So there should be 1, 2, 3, 4 checks, but we only get 3 checks. So we're going to do this. Cool. So the issue there was that my range wasn't going far enough, and if I just set it equal to, so I say 0 up to the range, then it worked. Let's see if it's gonna. Cool. I don't think I have enough room for any more code reviews. Really annoying that you can't just see that. Your momentum average exercises completed per week. Anyway, mark as complete. Minesweeper recommended. Minesweeper is a popular game where the user has to find the mines using numeric hints that indicate how many mines are directly adjacent, horizontally, vertically, diagonally to a square. Oh, is that how it works? I used to just click, 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 and just see how far I could go rather than guess. Your task is to add the mine counts to empty squares in a completed Minesweeper board. The board itself is a rectangle composed of squares that are either empty or a mine. For each empty square, count the number of mines adjacent to it, horizontally, vertically, diagonally. If the empty square has no adjacent mines, leave it empty. Otherwise, replace it with adjacent mines. If the empty square fine. For example, you may receive a 5 by board. Okay, should code transform into this. All the inputs and outputs are in ASCII. Rust strings and Astra are UTF-8, so while one might expect a chart to be simple, it actually has to check each chart to see if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 U8s long. If we know Astra is ASCII, then we can call as bytes and refer to the underlying data as at U-byte slice. Iterating over slice is much quicker, as there are no code points involved. Every ASCII byte is 1. Can you complete the challenge without cloning the input? Without cloning the input. Okay, maybe. Cool. Without cloning the input, did it say? What the hell does that even mean? Performance hint. So we've got a reference to an array of references to strings. So, yeah, string slices. An array of string slices. I mean, I guess I could say do that. Don't know why it takes so long sometimes. Is this like it just getting stuck? Am I in a queue? Is it to do with the code? One of the tests timed out. Nothing. Right. Is that what it said? Maybe something like that. A vector of vectors of U8, new vector. Let's try this. Print line. Unreachable statement. This is annoying. It's interesting to slowly learn this stuff, though. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. So does that mean I have to do that? Get lost. Surely, come on. Here we go then, trying to figure out how this actually works. Oh. What if I said, rather than do this, let's try. What? How can this be taking forever? It's just ridiculous. Get rid of that. Right, good. Oh look, it's got that here. Expect a thing of type string, so not that. Yeah. Okay, so I finally got it to go through this now. Guess what I need to do now is then say, so for okay. So basically what I'm going to do now is, to solve this problem, I am going to get the minimum x value and the maximum x value to go along, and the minimum y value and the maximum y value to go along. And then as I go through, I'm going to count the number of mines. So basically, if I see a star, I'm going to add one, add one, add one, and then append that to the string, basically. Okay. I need to take the maximum value of two things in Rust to do this. I suppose I could always do that. Let's just see if that works. Because it could be that that doesn't work and I need to do some stuff, but it would be easier if it just worked. This is going to fail for some reason, probably. Count plus equals 1. Cannot find value. Count. Oh, yeah. String and C's are ranges of use size. Cool. So the issue here was that it was saying, it looks like it's basically saying, oh, there's an issue because you can't go backwards because it's going to overflow, because whatever C is, it's some sort of uint maybe, and so if you go backwards it's going to go to like the maximum possible value for a uint. No. Not found in scope. Okay. Board with only mines. So we can go out of bounds, right? Okay. It's interesting that it can sort of know that you're going out of bounds, but still fail in a way. Because it sort of implies that it knows that it shouldn't go over. So it could just sort of handle it gracefully. But I guess maybe they want you to be specific, but still. Actually, just do this. Cool. So here I'm sort of saying that the maximum length that it could be, I'm just setting it to that. So byte string dot length is -1. Sorry, maximum x value is the length of the byte string -1, and the maximum length in y is the minefield length -1. And then I can say, well, if s is less than max y, then I know that max y can be s plus 1, because if it's less, it must be at least 1 less, and therefore you can go up 1 to that value without going over the index, which is where it's saying, oh, this index is out of bounds. Okay, see if this works now. Okay, so it goes through them all. That's good. The length is 3, but the index is 3. Bored with only minds, panicked. Okay, so it's saying, where was that? 2 for this one. Oh yeah. There's my issue. Okay. Cool. So once I'm done, let's try print line mine count. And it doesn't like that for some reason. Why doesn't it like that? That's really weird. What are the tests timed out? What, just from that? Did I change? Didn't really change anything, did I? Okay, cool. So let's say if C where do I get this string type from? Cool. There we go. Okay. So, at the end, instead we will say new string dot push line count. Let's see if that works. Doesn't like it. Expected chart found integer. That's char. Try char from U32. So what was it telling me? Try char. Do I have access to that straight away? Hmm. Do I want to say something like that? I am confused. much silence here. I think the issue I'm having now is just that I've got this integer value that I'm using to count the mines, and I want to push it as a character, but I don't know how to do that. Rust. See if that works, or maybe chart. So maybe we do. Okay. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So we got these zeros. Oh, finally. Okay. So if I talk through this now, basically I've been given a array of string slices, whatever the hell that means, and it wants me to return a vector of string types, and string is a growable, I guess it's a vector underneath the hood probably, of strings. And so I create that new field, and then I turn the string that I've been given into a byte string, because I know they're all ASCII characters, which makes it faster to operate on, and I guess also makes it simpler to know what the lengths are. Yeah. Then I'm looping through the length of the byte string and checking if that particular byte could be represented by a star. If it can, then I push it and I continue. I don't add anything else. And don't need this anymore. And then I'm going through and saying, okay, well, if it's not a star, then I need a range of values from the strings that I need to look at. Yeah, so then I go through and I loop through all these things, looking at the minimum x value to the maximum and the minimum y value to the maximum, and then I say if the byte is equal to the same byte as represented by star, then I'm going to add something to the mine count. If the mine count is greater than 0, then I add on the number, otherwise I keep it empty. And this matches the UI display, I suppose, that you would get from real Minesweeper. Okay. Cool. That's 2 hours. I think that's enough, and break for lunch, and then back again to complete some more. So what do I need to finish off now? Sorry, I've just been so quiet. It's just trying to figure these things out can be really annoying. Maybe just, let's say, to a string. Cool. How do you get the type of a variable in Rust? You can import Cool. All right. Let's see what they say. I'd love to get a code review on all of these. Lun. I think I've done that one before. Easy, easy, easy. Determine if a number is an Armstrong number. This is really useful. I enjoy this a lot. Okay. See you in a bit, in an hour or so.